We told you earlier that the Academic Staff Union of Universities have expressed a dissatisfaction with the federal government over its response to the union demands and has declared a comprehensive, total and indefinite strike. ASUU President Professor Emmanuel Oshodoke made this known in a statement issued at the end of the Union National Executive Council emergency meeting on Tuesday in Abuja. And the demands of the striking lecturers include issuing bordering on funding of universities, salaries and end allowances of lecturers, amongst others. Oshodoke said that the meeting was called to review developments since its last resolution that rolled over the nationwide strike action for another 4 weeks starting from the 1st of August. And the president of the National Parents Teachers Association of Nigeria, Haruna Danjuma, joins us now to speak on the efforts by our parents to break the deadlock between the union and the government. Welcome to Newsday and say thank you very much for joining us. Now, some will say that the parents are caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. Because if you try to say, let's end the strike and have our children get back to the universities, it's almost like saying you supported the government and overlooking the demands for a better university structure. And if you support the lecturers, it's almost like you're still being caught in the trap of having your children stay at home. For parents, how difficult a time is this for them seeing these things unfold and seeing this impasse continue?
Indeed, you have said it all. We find ourselves in a very critical positions, and having found ourselves in these very situations. And you already, as you earlier mentioned, that we are at center and we are the ones suffering. We are at the center simply because we cannot back government and we cannot also back ASUU. That's why we are parents. That's why we are here, pleading to both sides, for them to agree with the agreeable terms, of which we're hoping that will arrive at, allowing or calling back our children back to the schools. We have done our very best right from the beginning. We never knew that. We never expect that to take after this time period of 6 months on a strike. But we have not yet given up. We are still appealing to the government, appealing to the ASUU. It's a matter of give and take. We have said it earlier on. We have said through the media. We have said it. We even, give ourselves, to answer a call when it is time for the government and ASUU to bring parents, because we are stakeholders. We are number one stakeholders. Without our children, there will be no university. Without the lecturers, then we don't know where to take our children to. That is why in one of my appeal, I appeal and give ourselves, give out an option that if government will agree and also to bring, parent body into the dialogue to see what. And I even said that even if it means living, standing up and kneel on our knee, to appeal to both sides to agree on a certain issue. When we heard about Mr. President have mandated or directed the Honorable Minister of Education to delve into the issue, so we feel very much, at ease. I even mentioned that we have arrived at that point, that since the Minister of Education is the one, championing the appeals of education, is as good as, we are meeting Mr. President. Because Mr. President had directed him, and I've said that, I give that assurance that within a certain period of time, the issue will be over. But unfortunately, up to now, the thing is being dragged. We don't know who to blame. Government have given their own condition that they will do this and that and that, and ASUU have said that they are not okay with that one. And in addition to that, government said, okay, since the issue of no work, no pay is there's a law to that effect. So even if ASUU had accepted accepted what the government have agreed to give out in terms of this visitation panel, in terms of their remuneration, or that, ASUU, they said they will not go back to school to the class because they expected all their salaries to be paid. And government say no to that. Even Mr. President himself said no to that. Well, as for us parents, we will not be tired of appealing to both sides, the government and of course the ASUU. And when we heard about the other arms of the union, the senior staff, association of the university and NASU, we feel very much relaxed. We have seen the light of, the possible, way of, opening our universities so that our children can go back to their respective universities. And let me add to that we are very much, at ease and ease of what is happening now, because our children, is our problem now at home. Now that they are with us, we don't know how to cope with them at home.
Mr. Danjuma.
That's why we said, okay, we will not be tired now.
Mr. Danjuma, apart from appealing to both sides, that is the federal government and ASUU, some people believe that funding education at the tertiary level should not just be the responsibility of government alone, that parents can also supplement government subventions while universities can also source for funds. Do you agree with this opinion? Is your association in support of this?
Well, already we have been, complementing by paying the tuition fee and, paying for the, accommodating our children in the schools. If you are talking of government should, put some responsibility. It happened sometimes ago when the government, attempted to give the institution autonomy to handle the institution to run as a private school. Then there are among us who cannot be able to sponsor their children in our universities. So we are still saying that government, it is the sole responsibility of the government to shoulder the responsibility and see that its citizens have been educated. It is the right of our children, a child, to be educated. And we as a parent, we can do what we can do. That's why we are giving out the little we have by making sure that we get them, admitted in our institutions. We pay for the tuition fee. We pay for the, hostel fee and everything. We even feed them during their studies. So if now government said that we should share the responsibility, how could we do that? We have done what we could do, and that's all we are saying. That the situation on the ground now, financial constraint that is on the ground, that we should not expect parents to do more than that we are doing to our children. So it is government that has the responsibility of educating its citizens, and our responsibility is to agree and give out our children in our institutions, so that they can be educated. Yes. And it's only by being educated that the country will live in peace.
Yes, very, very true, Mr. Danjuma. Thank you for that. You earlier spoke about, even possibly going to kneel down on the knees to beg the government on behalf of ASUU to make things right. What options really does ASUU have now, especially since the fact that it seems a lot of these schools are pulling out of the agreement? We know that some universities, I think it's Ekiti, a university in Ekiti as well as Kwara State University, they are recalling their teachers and their students to come back to school, as they too seem to have been frustrated to the point that they just want to do something. What really now is ASUU's position? Does this weaken ASUU's position and their standing point in order to get the government to listen to their demands?
You see, we have, already, foreseen that kind of situation, because it's like the union itself. They are not, moving in one, direction. Since we have this kind of thing, And I'm sorry to say that the ASUU would have no option other than to go back to drawing board and see how they can bring together their members. And if it gets that stage, whereby, which already it happens, whereby some universities have backed out the strike and call back our children, you will agree with me that no parent would deny his child to go back to where the school where the lecturers have agreed to go back to lecturing. So that what I'm afraid about is that ASUU should, as a matter of urgency, sit down within themselves, agree on a certain agreeable issue, get back to the drawing board, meet with the federal government, and that's what as I said earlier, if it means involving us as a parent, because we are expected to be part of the negotiations, because it's all it's happening is because of our children. And of course, the lecturers themselves, they have their own right, they have their own demand, but the main thing is the situation the universities found itself. I mean, the teaching and the learning materials. So if they are saying that, we quite agree, we are quite in support of that, because that is what is making some parents to squeeze themselves and then send their children somewhere outside the country to study, because they have that belief that the other institutions outside Nigeria, they have all that is required. And it is only when you have an institution that is well equipped with the modern facilities that the learners will get what they want. So that's why we say, as parents, we support them from their demands. But since the government have accepted to do one or two or three things, let us also come down a little to arrive at certain position whereby the school will be open, our children will go back to class. It's not that we're not doing this just because of our children. We are doing this because of the country. Because if the millions of children that are sent back to us doing nothing at home, then by the time the whole thing gets out of hand, there will be problems. I believe you will agree with me that all this kind of insurgency, the robbery, and what do you have? Once you get, some of them are not educated. Some of them, they are not opportune to go to schools to become what they are supposed to be. You see, so if our children can be sent home for 6 months or over 6 months, it's about 7 months now, only God knows where it will end. That is why we are better. That's why we are calling on the government. That's why we are calling on the ASUU. We are not only appealing to government alone, we are appealing to both of them, the ASUU and the government, to please have a look on this, have a relook on this issue, and have somebody on our children, and as a parent also, because now, even if the school is open now, another issue is we have to pay for another tuition fee again, the school fee again. We have to pay for another accommodation for our children that are in the campus, in campus or outside campuses. We have to do that. We have to pay for everything that they need. We have to buy all that they need to have in their position for study. That is why parents will not be tired of appealing to Mr. President, all that was concerned in the committee, the ASUU, the president of ASUU, and all his members to please sit down and think about things. They also have children in our universities. We have children. That's why not only we, the parents, we are again calling on all those concerned, the legislators, the governors, of course, and the royal fathers, to come and team up with us and appeal to government, appeal to ASUU to do justice in this matter.
We certainly feel your pain, Mr. Haruna Danjuma, as a parent, and we hope this impasse between the government and ASUU actually comes to an end sooner than later. Thank you very much for your time here on News.